There's structural damage here at the Karibe Dam that borders both Zambia and Zimbabwe. This could put a potential 3.5 million people living along this Zambezi River at risk of possibly being flooded out of their house. As best as I can kind of relate it is like the movie The Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy's house gets picked up and spun around, because this looks like somebody submerged the house underwater and just slowly pulled it back up. I don't think the people of this particular community really understood the gravity of what was coming. I think they underestimated it. I think they thought it was going to be like Irene. It was going to be like storms they've had in their past, and that a lot of people thought, you know, I've been here 30, 40, 50 years. We met a guy who's been here 55 years, and he said he never saw anything like this. He said he was walking out of his house, and as he was leaving, he heard a neighbor call out, please help me, my mom is in the house, and she's older and I can't get her out, can you help me? And he said he turned his truck around. He had one of those monster trucks where the tires are about to like my mid-level, and he said he turned his truck around to go past her block to go get her mother, because she lived somewhere else, and he said he couldn't. He said his tires were already spinning, and the water was almost as high as his tires. He just had enough time to kind of drive off. He said he came back the next day and talked to his neighbor, and she told him that her mother didn't make it. She drowned in her house. And as is the story of so many people who did not think this was going to be as bad as it was. What's made the African market more open to this form of business now? Actually, farmers that are able to implement conservation agriculture are a lot less susceptible to external climate changes. Conservation agriculture is important to smallholder farmers like this one because it allows them to become food self-sufficient. What that means is now their farms and lands are able to provide enough food for themselves and others living and working on the farm. Widowed with 4 little ones to feed, Mary Carl spent many nights worrying about the future of her family. She told me in an interview how scared she felt when she was first left alone to become the sole provider for herself, her 4 kids, and her 2 grandkids. She was forced to move into a smaller house and farm. Carol worked her land full-time but couldn't seem to make a profit and was unable to assure the food security of herself or her family, leaving the family of 7 with empty bellies to go along with their empty pockets. Carol tells me how hopeless she felt until she was introduced to a new agricultural technique that promised her and her family a whole new life.
When my husband died, I had nothing to feed my family. I couldn't stop crying. Some of my children had to get married because I was unable to feed them. So it was not an easy thing.
Distraught at having to marry her children off early, she was proud to tell us that now, thanks to new farming techniques, she's food self-sufficient. And not only can she care for her own children still living in the house, she's also able to take care and provide for her grandkids who now live with her.
When the conservation agriculture people came, they introduced me to this technique. I thought, let me try this on a small portion of my farm. I tried to dig basins, and that was our starting point.
Carl has been farming for 12 years. But has only been using conservation agriculture for the past 3. The method, which incorporates 3 parts, including minimum soil distribution, retention of nutrients on top soil, and crop diversification, altogether support a more nutrient-rich soil that ultimately help strengthen land year-round.
From the time I started practicing conservation agriculture, I have seen a lot of profit. I am able to take the children to school. I was able to build a house. I have seen a lot of benefits.
Carl's face shines with pride when she shows us around her new, larger home. Proud to be able to provide such a housing upgrade to her family. But in order to be able to implement the CA techniques, money is needed to help small and medium-holder farmers transition their lands. The Zambian Ministry of Agriculture, in partnership with FAO and the EU, have pledged $15 million along 31 districts in 9 provinces throughout the country to see the vision of CA farming come to fruition. With this type of support, smallholder farmers could realize profits in as little as 1 year. Jiitu Abraham, Lusaka, Zambia. Zambia has a few extras that sets it apart, especially for the adventure seeker. I can hold the tail, right?
Yeah, you can.
The Microlight is a single-engine, open cockpit two-seater aircraft. And with the help of our pilot, we'll be flying 1,500 feet over both Victoria Falls and the Zambezi River. Jiitu Abraham, CCTV, Lusaka, Zambia.